Ever since he was selected as 7th overall draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings in 2007, Adrian Peterson has gone on to become one of the best running backs in the history of the game. But as it turns out, he has a problem when it comes to spending, resulting in one of the wealthiest and most controversial lifestyles around. The rich lifestyle of the man behind the name. According to reports, Peterson has gone on to make around $102 million over the course of his football career. Things did, however, hit a bit of a snag back in 2019 when his spending habits got the better of him. You see, Peterson never grew up with money, so when he finally made it to the big leagues, he had no idea that he would have to save at least something for his rainy day fund. In fact, his spending habits went even further than this, with the man taking on a number of loans in an effort to afford the things that he wanted. Essentially, this uncontrollable spending resulted in him having to appear in court after having refused to pay back the money that he borrowed over the years. This was after reports arose indicating that he had flown to lavish locations and spent millions on parties. With all that said and done, experts estimate the net worth of Adrian Peterson to be only around $1 million at the moment, which is at least something considered how he was broke in 2019. But with an overall earning capacity of $102 million, his spending habits were completely out of control. Let's take a look at some of the things that this professional running back has spent on his money over the years. His loving family. Although Peterson didn't grow up with an excessive amount of wealth, which explains why he had no idea how to control it, there's no doubt that he was given a loving family to fall back on. His mother, Bonita and father, Nelson Peterson, have always been there for him, which is why the man has been known to spend a lot of money on the pair to show just how much he cares for them. He also has a grand total of 4 brothers who go by Brian, Derek, Eldon, and Jalen, all of whom couldn't be more proud of their famous brother. Over the years, Peterson has been known to spoil his family members to the maximum, paying for large family cookouts, vacations, and Christmas presents, which is one holiday that the family absolutely love to spend together. This isn't the only family that he spends a lot of money on. He also has a spouse by the name of Ashley Brown and 4 kids whom he constantly takes on adventures across the globe. Not much is known about how much he spends on this extended family of his in total, but we're happy to say that Peterson has calmed down a little bit after his run-in with the law. Quite recently, the family went on a little vacation to Tampa where they relaxed at a zoo and amusement park. Much better than flying out to a lavish island on a private jet to enjoy the sights on borrowed money, that's for sure. His home. If there's one thing that Adrian Peterson has learned over the years, it's that money can be invested rather than thrown away. While this shouldn't be interpreted to mean that Peterson has developed a habit for investing in the stock market, he has made the decision to invest in something that will end up growing in value, his family home, which is reportedly worth a grand total of $4.7 million. You see, the great thing about immovable property is that it has the tendency to appreciate in value over the years. In layman's terms, this means that while you stay in the home, you can expect the value of the home to increase rather than decrease as the days go by. When you finally decide to sell it after a few years, you'll essentially be left with more money than you put into it in the first place. As it turns out, whether this was intended or not, this massive investment in his residential home was for more than just comfort. For those of you who were wondering a bit more about the home of Adrian Peterson, you'll unfortunately have to keep on wondering. The superstar running back has shown glimpses of it through social media posts with his family, but all in all, not much is actually known about the property. The overall value of the home has been made known, as well as the fact that it can be found in Texas, which is where Peterson grew up when he was younger. It also covers around 10,000 square feet, which includes everything from a private gateway drive, 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a large swimming pool, full library, European-style kitchen, and a stocked wine cellar. The Peterson family had a pretty great time when they were locked down in this incredible mansion. His car collection. As we mentioned earlier, his spending habits are most certainly not linked to smart investments such as immovable property. In fact, Adrian Peterson has spent a large portion of his net worth on a pretty incredible car collection. As it turns out, this is one of the worst investments a wealthy person could ever make, with some cars losing around 40% of their overall value as soon as ownership is transferred. But this never stopped Peterson before, who knew that a world-class running back had to have a selection of vehicles that were just as flashy as his playing style. Probably his favorite vehicle is his black BMW M6, which was reported to cost around $100,000 when he purchased back in the day. He can be seen racing this prized possession of his around Texas every now and again, which is able to reach breakneck speeds of 305 kilometers per hour. The car isn't just fast enough, it's also incredibly attractive with a mean-looking grille and sleek but contoured exterior. We did say car collection, so you won't be surprised to hear that Adrian Peterson has a few options when it comes to traveling around Texas. As it turns out, the man actually owns a few expensive four-wheelers, including a BMW 750i, Ford F-150, and a Cadillac Escalade. All in all, this selection of four-wheelers has cost the man over and above the amount of $250,000 million, showing just how much he loves to arrive in style. As we mentioned earlier, this isn't exactly the type of behavior we would expect from someone who had to declare bankruptcy back in 2019. How was he able to keep his precious cars? We have no idea, but there's no doubt he didn't need to spend as much money as he did on these impressive options. His own health. Since Adrian Peterson is currently playing for the Detroit Lions, he needs to stay in tip-top physical shape. How else will he be able to twist and turn his way out of reach of those defensive guards after all? The man spends quite a bit of money on his high-profile gym membership, as well as a crew of professionals that have the job of keeping him at the top of his game. According to reports, the running back spends about 5 days a week in the gym, where he has his own personal trainer to take him through the various exercises that are meant to increase his speed and toughness on the field. Since he works hard on his fitness over and above his practice sessions with Detroit, there's no doubt that his body takes a bit of a pounding. To ensure that he is fresh and ready for the same punishment come morning, he also employs a number of people to make sure that his body is always in its best recovery phase. This includes everything from cupping sessions to high-intensity massages. If recovery is ignored, after all, this punishment would be sure to result in some uncomfortable and maybe even career-ending injuries. Last but not least, Peterson also has his very own nutritionist on staff who has the job of telling him what he should be eating in an attempt to encourage healing from the inside out. It's quite a lot of effort at the end of the day, but absolutely necessary when you're asked to work at the rate of a professional NFL player. His philanthropy. Despite having hit some hard times over the years, Peterson has always been a pretty charitable guy. He established an organization known as the All Day Foundation back in 2008, for example, which has the intention of raising awareness and funds for the future of children. It's a pretty broad aim, but in the past, these funds have been directed towards everything from building football fields at underprivileged schools to the payment of education of those children who simply cannot afford it. He has also gone on to support certain foundations that are not his own creation, such as Got Your Six and the Starkey Hearing Foundation, both of which are aimed at the empowerment of those in need. Reports have also indicated that Peterson has given quite a bit of money to Thorn and the Tim Tebow Foundation over the years. Even after his run-in with the law, nothing seems to have changed with the philanthropic life of Adrian Peterson. Just recently, for example, he celebrated his birthday by donating an amount of approximately $100,000 to those who have been struck by the hardships brought on by the global health situation. Despite what you may think of the man, there's no doubt that he cares about the broader community. That's about all we know about the wealthy lifestyle of Adrian Peterson right now. What do you think about the various ways he spends his money? Be sure to let us know in the comment section down below.